Welcome to Distorted Opinions. I'm Kayla, and this week I'm joined by Ted and Keisha, and we, as always, came into this like, well, what are we going to talk about? And then we chatted for like 15 minutes before we got started, and now we've got a whole list of things to talk about, starting
It's
with...
great to bounce ideas off of you all. So I'm struggling all day. I'm like, what the heck are we going to talk about? I'm like, maybe this one thing, which we'll get to. And then... then just bouncing ideas off of no, we've got things to talk about. So
don't you worry, we'll fill in our new problem by the time we're done getting warmed up for this show.
We will need to be cut off.
Yeah, probably. I mean, quite honestly, the last two we've kept it just under the hour, but before that we were struggling for a few weeks. So this could be one of the struggle weeks because we've got a list going here, starting with I did not watch, but Keisha, I'm going to assume you watched the Grammys, and Ted, you've kind of followed up with some after post-Grammys like rundown stuff, and I know Ted has a very strong opinion on the...
I don't know if it's strong opinion.
Okay, Ted has an opinion.
I have a opinion.
Yes.
An opinion, not a opinion. No, Foo Fighters clearly got, a Grammy they deserve. Phenomenal. Artists, they've been in the game forever, and especially with the passing of Taylor, like, it all made sense. They were certainly deserving. However, when it comes to the Gojira album and Amazonia, I think that should have gotten it, because the amount of awareness and fundraising they did to help the conservation of the Amazon as proceeds from the sale of the Amazonia song itself, from a grassroots, just global effort, and bringing attention to the need for, the destruction of the Amazon, and just reminding people that that's still going on. I think that's award worthy as well. So I think that's the only other one where I do think that Gojira should have gotten that one for, I think it was Best Rock Album.
Oh, yeah, I think.
Yeah, I have to look it up real quick.
Oh my, was it?
Because it was Best Rock Performance, which I believe went to Foo Fighters, and then the Best Rock Album also went to Foo Fighters.
Yes.
And then I'm just saying Best Rock Album should go to Gojira, in my opinion.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. Well, I somewhat am accepting of that opinion. I think what you're on to for highlights of the Grammys is definitely any type of awareness, and shout out to Ukraine that they did. They had two Ukrainian artists perform with John Legend, and I thought that was a massive highlight of the evening. Very beautiful, of course, the tribute to Taylor. And I love that they got Rock Album for the Foo Fighters, because it was the album I downloaded Medicine at Midnight. And it was, like I just said a couple weeks ago, that was definitely my pick of the week. Because it was something I was like, I love this. I love where they've gone. So I'm a bit partial to them succeeding in that category. But I think what you touch on is that there can always be a category for any artist or group that does philanthropy and humanitarian work. I think that that's something that should definitely be recognized. Oh!
Correction. Rock Album did go to Foo Fighters.
Yes.
Black Pumas was also in the same cut.
Yes.
Metal Performance was Dream Theater, and Amazonia should have gone there. So Metal Performance, just give Gojira a Grammy. Is
that's what you're saying.
Get them a Dream Theater. Great. You've been around for eons. I mean, Rob Zombie was in that. That's okay. Deftones Genesis. It was an okay album, not Grammy worthy. Mastodon Pushing the Tides. Great album. Not quite compared to what Gojira was doing. And I don't know. Dream Theater. You've been around forever. Like, give it to somebody else. I don't know. Foo Fighters won, and that's all that matters. That's great.
Yes, it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, performances are great. I think the evening was great. Not a lot of, controversial stuff going on. Definitely loved the performance with her, Lenny Kravitz, Travis Barker. That was fun. It was a great, they should have ended there, I think. That was great. It was also a very long evening. Who else? Of course, whole bunch of nominees performed. But if I had to give like pivotal moments, definitely the Shout Out to Ukraine and that performance. I mean, BTS performed, but none of you want to talk about that.
Are they a K-pop group?
Yes, they're the K-pop group that's like taking over the world by storm, or have been taking over the world by storm. I do think Nas' performance was awesome because there was something, I think I appreciated the fact that Nas has been in the rap game for like 3 decades. And to hear some of his tracks that I remember bumping to was really nice. So I think it was just a nice evening. Trevor Noah, great host, some great comedic timing. One of the winners almost didn't get their Grammy, like did not receive their award. And it was Doja Cat because she went to the bathroom.
Oh, jeez. Go figure.
And I'm so glad, like you can literally see her like off in it back up.
Oh, jeez.
So SZA and Doja Cat won for best duo. And SZA is on crutches, all right? So she's taking her time in her elaborate gown, getting up to the stage. And for some reason, you're a little concerned watching this unfold, like, where's Doja Cat? Like, there's another person here. You know they're there. And then you literally see her like...
That's funny.
Hauling up there. She said she went to the bathroom. She didn't think she was going to win, so...
Oh, geez.
Right?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
There's no way it's happening. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Crap.
They can call my name. You're like running from the mezzanine. They're in the MGM Grand, so that is no small space to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And then of course Jean-Baptiste winning.
Yeah.
So deserving. His album also exceptional, and his energy in general is just so inspiring. I think what he said about music being able to touch an individual at any point in time. He doesn't believe that there's any best artist or best album or best song. He's like, at some point an album, a song, a track is going to connect with someone at any point. So everyone's a winner in that regard. What's more important is being an artist and putting something out there. So I was like, give this man a crown. Give him a crown. These folks up in here. Like, that's what it's about. Some of the presenters to the performers were crew members, and all award shows should take a page from the Grammys last night in that regard. They focused their time in talking about like the people in the production. Those from styling, anyone in production, anyone that tours, touring managers, they gave them the opportunity to introduce the performer that they work for.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, that should be the gold standard now in any type of award show, because what they were able to touch on, what at least Trevor Noah beautifully communicated, is that it's the artist, but everyone else. There were a whole bunch of people that effectively lost their jobs during the pandemic,
right.
Not just the performers. It were the people that worked for the performers, and they're the ones that are making it possible for people to tour, for their costumes, for their food, for, their touring schedules, everything. So to give them an opportunity to, one, be celebrated as they should be, and give them an opportunity to introduce the people that are like their family. I thought that was fantastic. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So like there was a Grammys, they definitely exceeded expectations from what we went through a week ago. So fantastic.
No kidding.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, it's really
extra controversy with this one. It seemed it was just very, very classy, very
for musicians, right? So, like, I love artists, I love musicians. We are all shades of musician here. So like, it's really interesting to be like, we're the classy ones.
Yeah. No, amazing. I think that's really awesome that they highlighted the crew and the people who make those shows possible, because I think a lot of people do forget about what goes on behind the scenes to bring a show, and there are a lot of people involved in making those happen, and it was a really tough 2 years, not just for the bands, but for those people, because I don't think a lot of them could collect unemployment either, because they, it's not the type of job where you qualify for those sorts of things. So I know it was a really difficult time for crews who were doing the shows, and even just coming back into doing shows again was, I think, a concern for a lot of bands too, because you put all these shows together, you go back out on the road. That's a costly thing to do, paying your crew and paying to transport everything. And then you don't know whether or not your show is going to get shut down again because somebody on your crew gets COVID, somebody in the band gets COVID, the venue, the guidelines change or something. So I know it's been a very difficult 2 years for bands. So I think that's a really, really great thing that they did, allowing the musicians to also kind of make the people who make everything happen behind the scenes a part of it. Because you're right, that doesn't happen at a lot of award shows, and those people don't really get a whole lot of recognition, I don't think. And
you never see those people.
Exactly.
Unless it's like some behind the scenes, like tour setup video for a band that you're watching, and you get to see like at random interviews they're doing something silly.
Right. One of them was working. Obviously, all of them were also working because they were introducing the person that was about to, their boss, essentially, like for their next performance. So they're like, I literally came from the back. Hi. And my heart went out to them. One in particular, did she introduce? I think she introduced Chris Stapleton, and you could tell that there's like a genuine connection, as it should be, with these individuals that work for those performers. She said, we're treated like family. We are secure. We're taken care of. We do have a sense of security, but just seeing her be overwhelmed at the moment, because I'm sure like that's a lot to ask for people who definitely prefer
behind the scenes
to stay behind the scenes. Yes. Yeah. So you see her shaking, but I'm like rooting for her and like simultaneously crying, being like, this is so beautiful. To give her that platform. So I think that's something they should definitely continue to do, is make sure that those individuals get a level of recognition that is deserving for the work that they do. Right. Yeah, I don't know what I'd probably pass out. I'd pass out. It'd be a moment. It would not be good. It would be a bad viral moment to ask me to do that. So kudos to all of them. I thought it was great.
Nice.
Yeah. That is awesome.
I didn't watch it, but great to hear amongst everything else. So
see, now you want to watch clips of it, though.
I just got the full story. I'm all good. I got the results. I don't have to watch the entire event. It was the movie version of the book. You know what I'm saying? It's
the movie version of the book.
It's like right to the point. Got what I needed, and good.
Got out of there.
On to the next.
Oh my goodness! Would you want to watch were there any performances that you heard about that you would want to watch?
I didn't know who was performing.
Yeah,
oh my
I don't
goodness.
either.
And
yeah.
half of the names on the Grammy list are people I've never even heard of.
This is true.
Same.
So,
wow.
Did I see Bruno Mars won a couple of Grammys? I think he's the only one that I.
Silk Sonic got they got stuff, and they were hilarious. You could just tell they're having a good time. I think at one point, Anderson .Paak was like, it's really hard to stay humble when you're winning all this. And I couldn't even be upset at that point, because if you're getting, multiple R&B, you're just racking up the Grammys. You can tell by award 4 or 5. They're like, well, we winning. Yes, they did. Yeah. They did. But if I have to suggest, definitely watch John Baptiste's performance.
Would be inclined for that.
Fun. It's just so much fun, and I am honestly waiting for Stephen Colbert's show so I can see him recognized.
The Instagram was going crazy though, because the 12 nominations alone, which is a crazy number.
Right.
So, definitely there were a lot of highlights and things I saw on Instagram because of that. And I've listened to a number of his songs that he's done, and very familiar. So that would be one that I would be inclined to go, okay, yeah, let's seek this one out to see what the performance is, because I know what he's capable of, and it's really good. So
nice.
Yeah.
And maybe Billie Eilish, because she also had a great performance. If you're so inclined.
All right.
Okay. Some highlights to
There's some highlights. There's some highlights. See, I
investigate.
watched it so you didn't have to.
I see. That's what I'm saying. I appreciate that.
I stayed up the entire time, glued, folding laundry. I did get up. Oh, they also had nice breaks. So they were definitely artists that we probably would not have, they're definitely not well known in the categories that were highlighted in that evening. But they got to perform taking the show in and out, and they set up the roof of the MGM Grand as like a live venue.
Oh.
So yeah, so there were a couple of really interesting things. I definitely appreciated that they had a gospel group as one of them, because I definitely listen to their music. Definitely have covered those songs on a Sunday. So I really, really appreciated that. And then a couple of Latin groups. I thought it was that's a great way of just like keeping it rolling with everyone, like literally everyone that's involved and who's been nominated.
Nice.
Cool.
So next year.
Now we have some things
don't have cable or streaming television during this particular in between football season, so there's a lack of accessibility.
It's tough times.
Yeah. So
YouTube.
That's right.
And again, after it's post.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it live. True. For the highlights.
But yeah, exactly. You don't need to watch it live, because now you know what to look for, because Keisha's done the hard work for you. So
right? It's like watching the recap on ESPN for a football game. They already got the highlights all together. Well, don't have to watch all the 4-hour game. Like,
you just watch like your first takes or your undisputeds and all that.
Yeah, I'll be in the same position next year, even if I had.
What did Shannon Sharp say?
You look it up. It's all good.
Nice.
Wow. What was the last Grammy that you actually watched? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh. I want to say last time, I probably in around 2008 that I watched.
Wow.
I'm just looking up when the last time Metallica was at the Grammys, because that's probably the last time I watched the Grammys. Looks like 2009 they were nominated for Metal Performance. I don't know if they performed at the Grammys. I don't know. I'd have to do research on that, because I don't remember. Honestly, it's been so long.
It's been that long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a lot of the awards shows just
You're
because...
not an award season person?
No.
Not really, although I always thought it might be kind of fun, like, if I had a group of people who was into it to get together and do, like, one of those parties where everybody gets dressed up in their formal attire and it's, like, a whole big to-do, but that's
Kayla,
also
why
because...
have we not done this?
Sounds like you're hosting it next year.
I mean, I'm cleaning out my house right now, and I'm about to get rid of all my formal attire, because when am I ever going to wear that again?
That was a genius idea. All of us would attend.
Well, geez. A little late for the Grammys now, but maybe next year we can do a formal Grammys party.
Kayla said dress up and party, and I was like, "This is still the deal."
Formal attire, black tie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Maybe I should hang on to some of those dresses that I'm about to get rid of then.
No, buy a new one. There needs to be like a red carpet thing with like, I need you to set up like a tripod and a camera so we can take our own paparazzi photos or something.
Hey, I'll get a step and repeat. I'm on it. You've come to the right place.
And we probably just film an episode right there.
Exactly. Yeah,
while we're all glammed up. Why not?
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the thing. You're talking to somebody who's... I don't want to admit how many years it's been since I attended a formal event that required like a gown, but I still have them all, including like... I'm donating them because I feel like at this point I'm hanging on to all these prom dresses and stuff that I've had, and I'm like, when am I going to wear them again? And that includes 4 years of marching band. We had a band banquet every year. That was formal attire. It was basically like a homecoming of marching band. So I've got a lot of formal dresses that not only have I not worn in like over a decade, I'm not sure I could fit into them either. But, you know, I finally decided it's time to part with them. I even have some. I still have the one from Ted's wedding in my closet, which I'm going to hang on to because I actually think that's something I could potentially wear again because it's like, it's formal, but not as formal as some of the other dresses. But I have plenty of dresses I could reuse that you all probably have not seen because I wore them after high school, but at this point they've just been sitting in a closet taking up space. So I don't know, I'll consider. I've got plenty of other dresses I've never worn. Like I've got some sort of a weird obsession and collection going on with, if you went in my closet, you'd probably be shocked at the amount of kind of formal dresses that are in my closet that I've never worn because I don't have an occasion to wear them, but they were nice and I got them at a good price and I'm like, I might wear this someday. So we got to start having a lot more awards parties that are formal for me to actually have an excuse to wear these things, because I don't even leave the house to go to conferences
she's complaining
anymore.
that she has too many dresses, and then she tells us she has so many dresses she's never worn. So all I'm hearing is that this award ceremony season next year can be a thing.
It can. And I don't even have to buy a new dress because I've got new dresses in the closet. So there you go. Let's make this happen.
Out of principle, because I got, yes, but it's happening.
It'll be a special edition of Distorted Opinions next year come Grammys time.
Genuinely excited.
All right, you guys are on. You heard it here first to our audience.
Yeah, it just came about right now.
Yes, now it's official. It's going to happen.
Yes.
So
formal.
Yes. All right. Well, now that we've worked out that whole situation, the other thing that came up today that I teased about before we started the show, and it was like, oh wait, we need to just make this a conversation during the show because I know Keisha has not been a part of this discussion, but the jam session text thread has been blowing up today over the fact that Ted has done the initial customization of his dream Fender custom shop guitar and sent the specs to everybody, and now he's getting peer pressured by everybody from the jam sessions that he needs to buy said dream guitar. And so I'm just curious as to whether or not Ted's gonna cave to the peer pressure and get the guitar, because I know you've been thinking about this guitar for a long time.
It's a long time.
How long? What are the specs?
Over 10
Context.
years. Like,
yeah,
it's been easy 10 years.
Yeah.
Lake
This
Placid
guitar to Ted is like my Parker was to me. I waited years and years and years to get one. This is Ted's Parker.
So I've never owned a Fender. I've had my Squiire. It's a Squiire Strat, and whatever. That was a gig starter pack, $220. You get an amp with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the most expensive guitar is the Epiphone Les Paul behind me. That one cost me like $550, but that was in 2003 when I bought that. And so amongst that, I was like, you know what? I really want a real Fender. I was fortunate enough on a work trip 10 years ago to visit on my downtime the Fender Guitar Factory in Corona, California, take a tour of the factory, walk through, see the blocks of wood and hand, shaped and things like that. I was like, oh man, that is cool. Got to walk, did full tour, got to actually take pictures, which is really nice. And got to walk through the custom shop, get to see stuff on tables, people working on things. So this is really cool. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to get a Fender, I want it to come from here because I've been to the place, I've seen it. It's awesome. And so that spurred me on American Fender because they make them in Asia, they make them in Mexico, and they're cheaper variations. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I really like their Lake Placid blue. which as a color, I don't have any blue guitars.
No.
And it is a lighter-ish, not too bright, but it's not like teal, but it's not like super dark purplish blue. So it's got a nice color blue to it. I'm like, all right, great. Want a maple neck on it because all of my guitars are mahogany. So I want a maple neck on it. So it just has the white wood finish on that. And want a mother of pearl pickguard just to help extra flash.
Mm-hmm.
And I want gold hardware all over it because every Strat is always silver and make it pop with gold. And so I was like, all right, well, looking around, I can find Lake Placid blue, maple neck, American-made Fenders, Strats. I could find those, and that's good. Well and all, I can get the base, and then I'd have to customize it myself, source all the gold screws and hardware everywhere, and take it apart, put it back together exactly how I want it. And then I was looking around, and I was noticing, I was on the Sweetwater website, that all 4 of the Lake Placid blue Fender Strats that have maple necks are the 1970s style headstock, which I don't like because it's already the same headstock that I have on my Squire. And so it's got more of a fatter, more wood on the end of the guitar in a fatter shape. And so I want like the 60s style where it's more slim and more generic Fender Strat looking. So I was like, oh crap. Then I went digging and I found a 2016 Lake Placid blue Strat with that headstock, one used, and it was pretty expensive. But I would also, if I did that, then I would still have to source all the gold parts and take it apart and put it all back together. Then I was like, you know what? I'll go to Guitar Center. The Guitar Center's where I scrolled through them all. Close but no cigar. It's like, all right, going to the Fender website. Like a car.
That's it.
Like
you
a
can
car.
build your
That's
own
right.
Strat guitar, any guitar, really. I just selected Strat, did all of the specifications. You can pick your neck shape, all of it. And I was able to do the exact specifications, gold hardware included. So they had gold screws, gold tuning, the tuning machines at the end, and then the gold guitar strap mounts, everything. And it is the same price as that other guitar that I would need to do all the work to. So all of that said, it might be in my best interest to just buy it from Fender, have it modified at Fender, and just ship to the house. The initial thought was, okay, well, American-made Fender Strat usually runs $1,100. This customization, to a T with the right neck that I want on it, right headstock, very specific, and have all the gold accessories without me needing to source it, is $1,000 more. So for $2,200, I can get everything soup to nuts and out the box from California to my door, and I've just get it all one fell swoop. And knowing that is cheaper than most Gibson Les Pauls, cheaper than most other guitars. It is the most expensive instrument I think all over the years. I think what I've put into the drum set this would be one purchase of a guitar.
I was just gonna say drum sets aren't cheap.
Well, I mean, but I got get the
To
bass.
be fair about his drum set, he got a good deal.
I got a
made
good deal,
sure
but then I
of
kept
it.
on adding stuff, and I added
That's
like
fine. Your
symbols.
foundation
And,
was good.
oh, foundation's great. Are you kidding? Got my drum set from Keisha's dad, by the way. Still have it, still love it. No, not going anywhere. But yeah, so I spec'd out the guitar, and it is really gorgeous.
She's pretty. She's pretty.
I sent the picture, the
mad
screenshot
pretty.
you sent to Keisha, so
Okay.
she could see what it
Yeah.
looks like.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
She
But,
good
and it's
looking.
it's unique because no one's
There's not a lot with gold hardware out there. Not a lot of
Right.
Fenders.
and then no one does Lake Placid blue. It's a very unusual blue.
Well, they're very complementary. You know, you have those two shades really like balancing each other out. And I mean, it's gorgeous. Daggone.
So now the question is,
Are you going to buy it?
Do I buy it?
That's the burning question that everybody in the jam session thread has been dying to know all day long. Is he
So-
going to buy it?
So I texted that image to my dad,
What did he say?
and
Shout out to Ned.
yeah,
Shout out
and,
to Ned.
and I said, so explain the situation. But I was able to build this on the Fender website. And he says, in the end, it'll be worth getting it the way that you want versus settling for close. And I'm
Hey.
like, even you are in on this.
Amen,
all
Ned.
of you guitar players and musician people are
That's
like,
just good words of wisdom
it
from a
is.
parent. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
He
Get
does
what
have a
you
good point.
want. He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to
does.
spend the money, spend a
Do
little
it.
more and get it the way you want it, as
That's
opposed
right.
to having to piecemeal it together the way you want it after buying something.
Ensure that it's what you want. You're
Oh,
paying
yeah.
to ensure that it's everything that you want. And if something happens, I know who to send it to. So
Yeah, there's a no return policy on the
Oh, yeah.
website.
no, but like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those phone calls can be very specific. As long as
Right,
you know
yeah,
something's
right,
off. It's
targeted,
Like, listen
yeah.
here. Yeah.
The only person you didn't ask, and I can guarantee you I know what his answer would be, is Matt's dad, Rich.
Oh, he would say
And Rich would
absolutely.
be like,
get it.
oh, buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just had it yesterday.
No
Why are you asking?
Yeah, what are you waiting for? Buy it.
You already priced it out. It should have been in your
Yeah.
car. It should have been. You should be getting it.
They should be building it already. Yeah.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the worst part, though, is about buying a custom guitar like that, because I went through this with the Parker. This guitar to Ted is like the Parker was to me. I waited a long time to get the Parker, and then I finally got one. And the real killer was waiting for it to be made, because it's not something that happens in a few weeks. And right now, it probably takes even longer. When I got my Parker, I had to wait I want to say it was 8 months to get the thing. And I was just...
Now, the nice thing is Fender is just grab parts and they can
That's
slap
true.
it together.
That's
for
true. It's a
how
little more
the factory's
standard.
made. It is very... I've seen it from the inside. They they have, just grab the body, grab the neck. Like there's bins. Like it's kind of nuts for the scale that they make stuff there. But because the website did say allow 30 days,
Wow.
which is pretty quick.
That's not bad. Yeah.
So provided there's no backlog there, I mean, it would probably take, I don't know, a dedicated person a day, 2 days for that alone. So I would think if they know what they're doing, which I assume they will.
Well, yeah, presumably in the custom shop, they know what they're doing around there.
Slap stuff together. But But yeah, so it wouldn't be super long before turnaround. But I just been waiting
Still
for.
thinking on it.
Well,
My opinion matters, but you should get it.
Not one guitar player is telling you to get a guitar.
Everyone's saying do it.
Now it's expanded.
Because for those who are listening, if you could only see Ted's face as he is describing this is like... This
is the guitar of the end of all guitars for Ted.
I'll never buy another guitar again.
Yeah.
This is the last of all guitars.
Well, don't say that, because I said that after the Parker, and then I've bought like 4 more since. So don't say never.
But it's not my main instrument. So.
No. Either the end all be all or like your gateway.
Yeah, no, I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's when you pay a lot of money for a guitar, I feel like that's kind of like, okay, this is my high end, my one time, I really want it. I'm willing to pay this kind of money for a guitar. At least, I don't know. For those of us who don't have insane... True, but unless let me rephrase. For those of us who don't have endless amounts of money to just put into buying guitars, expensive guitars, I feel like there's 1, maybe 2 that it's like I'm willing to pay that kind of money, and for everything else it's like that's it. There's not ever gonna be another. There's one other one that I would want really, really badly, but cannot justify the cost of it given how little I'm playing guitar right now, and that's the ESP Eclipse. And they had one at, was it Musician's Friend or Sweetwater? I can't remember which one, but they had one that was a custom shop, and it was purple with gold hardware. I think actually one of the other few guitars I've seen that's had gold hardware on it. And it was like just shy of $10,000. So yeah, I can't justify that. But like with the Parker, it was a one-time. I've wanted this guitar for a long time. I bought it, and I've not bought another guitar that's come anywhere near the cost of what the Parker cost me. I found other guitars that I'm like, this is a nice guitar. It plays really nice. I think I'm going to get it. Significantly less expensive, like under $1,000. But I think Ted's probably similar in that way, that especially where guitar's not your primary instrument, and this is the guitar you've been wanting for years and years and years, I think if you were to get it, this would probably be like the guitar to end all expensive
hanging
guitars.
right where this Les Paul is. So it's going to be in screen all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just pictured you like on a normal, I don't know, Saturday morning, you just like having a coffee and just staring at it.
Oh, guaranteed. 2 p.m. with like a soda.
Right.
Nice.
Right, exactly. Not playing, you're just like literally admiring it.
Yeah. No, I sometimes do it just with this guitar, my Les Paul over here. I'm like, it's pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it's a beautiful piece of wall art too, while it's not being played.
True.
You think that's funny?
When you know your friends, and you look, I can see you. I can see you.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it's going.
20 minutes before the show starts, Ted's just sitting at his desk there, sipping his water, beverage of choice, looking at his guitar. Yeah. Like, that's a nice guitar.
Because it fits him as like a general appreciator of craftsmanship. Like, yeah.
So also fun fact, speaking of gold hardware, my acoustic guitar also has gold hardware. Ibanez AW100.
Okay.
And I recently put in brass string lock, the bridge locks.
Oh, the bridge pins?
Bridge pins. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. So now it's
nice.
Matches the headstock as well.
Nice.
So then 50% of my guitars would have gold hardware at that point.
Hardware.
There you go.
Right?
Nice.
Trying to be different.
Gold hardware.
That's
gold
awesome.
hardware for you and blue guitars for me. Most of my guitars. You wouldn't know it looking at the 2 that are behind me here, but those weren't mine. Those were my dad's, so I didn't pick those, but every other guitar I have. Yeah, I had to think about it for a second there. Yes. Every guitar that I have, with the exception of the White Zombie and the Explorer, because the Explorer's a natural. The rest of them are all blue, and that wasn't intentional. It just happened that way. Because that's how you go into Guitar Center back in the day, and you take a guitar off the wall and you play it, and you're deciding whether or not you're going to purchase a guitar. 10 times out of 10, you purchased the one that you pulled off the wall. It wasn't like you played it and then you're like, but I think I'd like this in a different color. You bought whatever one you pulled off the wall, and it just so happened that all of the guitars I bought over the years happened to be some variety of blue, no matter how much I tried, which is why the build that I haven't started yet, I want to go with something a little bit different from blue, because that's just how it happened. And quite frankly, if I'd realized they were custom ordering the Parker, I might have picked a different color, because they had some other really cool colors that I definitely would have gone with. Like the solar flare or something would have been really cool, which is a black with like a metallic. It's got glitter in it or something, and so it's really shimmery and cool looking. But I didn't know there was a choice in that. It was what I saw on the website. I called to order it. They were like, yep, we can get that for you. And then I realized after the fact that they were ordering it custom. And I was like, oh, well, I might have picked a different color if I'd known, but that's all they had on the website. And again, it's still some form of blue. It's a nice blue burst. So it's mostly white, but there's blue on the edges. So yeah, I'm the opposite. It seems like, Ted, your guitars, I think, tend to be more on the red side.
Because everyone had black.
Ah.
Because Matt originally had a black Strat knockoff originally, and then he had the
that cream color,
the honey burst or whatever. It's kind of the cream Strat with the darker pickguard on it. But and
then Harris had the black and white base. That
so I was like, you know what, I don't want black, because at the time the Strat packs were either you get black or red, and that's what they had available. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going red. I want to stand out and not be what everyone else is using right now. But yeah, so
speaks to my rage on the inside of everyone else's decisions.
I'm not angry. But I will also point out in this particular chat, while I was looking at my dream, in the search for Strats, I did find this particular Strat, which is phenomenal in color. So it's mostly black in the center, but then it fades to this blue around the edge on all sides.
Dark and lovely.
Oof. It was like
Night
first.
Is the color.
What is it?
Dark Night.
Dark Night
is the color. That's what they call it, I guess.
So that was the first search when I went looking for my dream Strat. I clicked on that. And I was like, oof, that's a cool color. Black to blue.
Cool color.
And
that's like the
out.
opposite of what you might see, where it would normally be black on the edges and go to blue. It's black, and then it goes to blue on the edges, and the pick guard's black, and the knobs are all black, and the pickups are black. Cool. It's a sharp-looking guitar. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it's not your Lake Placid blue.
No, and it's got a mahogany neck, but it is American-made Strat with the correct headstock on it that has the 60s style.
I'll tell you, the one next to it that's Mercury is pretty cool as well. Yeah, it's like a silver burst almost. It's silver, but it gets darker on the edges. That's a pretty cool looking guitar too. Yeah. So I mean, I think if you want the Lake Placid blue, though, I think it's worth paying a little bit more and getting it exactly the way you want it.
And for the closest Strat that I found, and obviously not coming with all the extras, and I'd have to source it all and then take it apart and put it back together. The price difference is $200.
Yeah, not worth it.
Yeah,
no, $200. I would pay somebody to do that for $200.
Right.
So, yeah. So in general, it's a good deal. Just need to decide whether or not I'd pull the trigger on it. So that's where we are.
The argument that I made when Ted sent this text earlier was that with the way the cost of materials is going, cost of lumber, cost of gas, which is going to probably drive up like all kinds of other things. I'm sure paints are going to go up in cost. Shipping is going to go up in cost. Unless you're planning to wait a long time longer to get what you want, I feel like it's not going to get cheaper, was my argument. But it is a lot of money to spend, and I get that, because that's especially if you're not necessarily playing it on a daily basis.
Bump that again, ball out, Ted, ball out. Just get it.
I hear you.
But I know there's a rationale, but you know, we made it. Okay, we here years later. Everybody feeling it. Everyone's gonna have that one purchase, whether you like it or not. Everyone's gonna find themselves in that one moment.
Is this qualifying as a midlife crisis?
No.
Ted's not getting a sports car. He's getting a sporty-looking guitar.
Well, for Ted, I don't know.
Is it?
Because he's definitely an old soul on the inside, but he's always been that way. This is like not a new thing. I'm just saying because we've all made it through the last however many years of all this ridiculousness, and we're coming out unscathed. We all here. There's something to celebrate.
Treat yourself.
You want to treat yourself, exactly. Treat yourself. All right. Do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, we may have to revisit this topic in a few weeks to see if Ted has decided to pull the trigger on the new Fender or not. But I will say, though it's not a custom shop, one of the things I really like about Sweetwater, if you're not familiar with Sweetwater, is that if you go to their website and you look at a guitar, it's probably the closest thing you can get to actually going into a store and looking at a guitar, because they'll list pictures, serial numbers, and weight information about all of the different guitars they have in that particular color and body and, you know, whatever model it is. So you can actually choose which one you like out of all of them. So they show you all the finishes, and you can actually see, like this one that Ted just sent us. In case you're curious to go look it up, it's the Fender American Professional 2 Stratocaster in Dark Knight. But they show you the 4 different bodies that they have in stock, or guitars, and you can see the slight differences in the paint between the 4 of them. Like, if you just saw individual pictures of that guitar, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, that's the same color. But when you see them side by side, you can see there's subtle differences. And so you can actually pick which one you want. And the weight, like, there's some difference between the weight of some of these too. So I really like Sweetwater for that. No, they're not a sponsor. There's no endorsements from Sweetwater. I'm just saying I bought stuff from Sweetwater in the past, and that's one of the things I really like about them versus some of the other online retailers, is that you can actually kind of choose which one you're getting, whereas some of the other places that you buy from, or at least this was the case, I don't know if it still is, but it was the case that you purchased a guitar from that company and they just grabbed whichever one and sent it to you, and you didn't know what you were going to get out of, I mean, I guess if you didn't know the options.
It's the actual guitar that's
right
with that serial number.
That's
you can
the one
pick
you'll
by
get.
serial number, very specific. So it's cool.
So I do like that about Sweetwater. They're a pretty cool company. But yes, we shall see if Ted decides to pull the trigger on that Lake Placid Blue.
I'm gonna give you
Fender
2 months.
Give me 2 months, okay.
Tell you what, email us your
vote now.
what your bets are. Get your bets in now. Linktree/distorted opinions, linktr.ee/distorted opinions. You'll find our email address. Tell us what you think I guess the over-under is going to be on Ted deciding to get his Strat here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll revisit it when we come back from the hiatus. We'll find out if Ted's, well, you'll know if he's got it hanging behind him there.
No.
I'll be texting you as soon as I hit order. I'll be texting you as soon as it arrives. There'll be an unboxing video.
Nice.
There will be like champagne. There will be a thing.
I mean, I can
It'll
plan
be a
for it.
formal occasion.
Yes.
The first.
Oh, now I gotta dress up for it.
Dress up for the unboxing and the reveal.
No belts. No belts.
No belts, no watches.
No watches. No scratches on this.
No
thing.
scratches. No jackets with
scratches.
zippers. Yep.
Keep my nails trimmed down.
That's
like,
right.
all of it.
That
Yep.
is a legit thing if you go to a guitar store, especially if you play a higher end guitar. For those who don't know, they at least I've been in before where they've asked if you're wearing a belt that you take off the belt before you play the guitar so you don't scratch up the back of it. And it's a very real thing. You can really do some damage to the back of a guitar with a belt, or even like wearing something with a zipper on it is enough to scratch it up. So yeah,
Do we need like a rope? Do we need like stanchions and rope to like
yeah. There'll be like special
one guard at the door? It's like
special robes that you have to wear when you come in to ensure that it's a soft
Booties.
material when you sit with the So yes, I'm
Gloves
gonna
to
be
not
on
get
the-
any oils on the
Exactly.
strings.
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
cotton gloves. Yeah.
we might as well just get him like a glass frame, so we can mine
God
it from
Absolute trophy case.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need a
Yes.
case with a light and a stand in it.
Oh my
whole 9
goodness.
yards. Yes. So I'll be waiting on the edge of my seat to find out. But on that note, surprisingly enough, Ted was a little worried we weren't going to be able to fill an hour tonight trying to come up with things to talk about. We're at the point where we should probably get into
Okay.
Song of the Week here. So I'll do the usual reminder that if you're new to the show, or if you just needed the weekly reminder, we have a Spotify Song of the Week playlist. We put all of our picks in their entirety into that playlist, and we put the link in the description of every episode. If you're watching the video version of the show, we put a Spotify scan code on the screen. All you have to do is open Spotify on your phone or mobile device and tap on the camera icon in the search bar, hold your device up to the screen, and it will take you to the playlist. I highly recommend that you favorite the playlist so that you can find it more easily from now on, but we will put this week's picks in there as well. And while I've got the floor, I will just go ahead and give my pick, which this week was a real struggle. I had a hard time picking a song of the week after last week's pick because I've been listening to last week's pick like nonstop. Plus, it's actually only been a few days since we recorded that episode, so there hasn't been a whole lot of time in between for me to have listened to a whole lot of other stuff to pick something. So I decided to dig through the archives and actually ended up going with, and I don't know whether it's pronounced Bonobo or Bonobo. I think it's Bonobo. Bonobo's track Antenna off of 2013's The North Borders. Bonobo's a British musician, producer, and DJ. Stuff is tends to be kind of trip hop with a mix of jazz and world influences, kind of downbeat, chill stuff. I've listened to a lot of his stuff. I really like it. This song in particular was getting a lot of play on Sirius XM's Chill a few years back, and very quickly made it onto Yes, My iPod playlist of chill music. And I really love this song. It's got a nice laid back beat and there's some flute in there, but I couldn't find anything. I feel like it's probably a sample from a jazz song or something, but I couldn't really find anything in my research that proved that. So maybe it's not a sample, but it's a really cool track. Return to Air is another really great track by Bonobo that was getting a lot of play off of on Sirius XM's Chill, but this one is a favorite that like I said, it was on repeat for a long time. The track's called Antenna by Bonobo, and that's going to be my Song of the Week pick. And with that, I'll send it over to, I know Ted was teasing the
He said he had
pre-show.
something
He had
different.
yeah.
Different because
And I've been waiting to find
metal.
out.
What?
Okay, that's a rarity.
It's not rock.
Oh,
It's not country.
If
Get out
you
of
say
here.
it's pop, I'm gonna pass out.
It's not pop.
Okay. I was like, that is not you.
I kind of wanted to see Keisha passing out. Could have been a viral moment, but
Not you.
No, I because as Caleb mentioned, we had recorded a couple of episodes very recently to when we're recording this one. I didn't have a lot of time to go find anything new in particular, so I decided to dig through some archives of obscure things that I have a YouTube playlist of, and came across a drum and bass song, which is very, I mean, if you're aware of drum and bass, very straightforward. It's all it is. And it's got a lot of 90s vibe to it, for, throwback tones in this particular song. But it is by Dimension, and the song is called A Fender. And it came off of an album called The Fender in 2020. And it's just simple, quick, upbeat. It's a slightly more modern take on what you would want to go to the roller rink as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want that cool song to get you pumped up. And it's kind of like that. So a little obscure, something different, but it's got all the simple elements to techno drum and bass that really like. So obscure find for this week.
This is a very different style. I'm listening to it right now on Spotify. Is a very different style from anything Ted has.
I'm just thinking of our playlist, and I'm like, how can I make this more random?
Well, there you go.
So here we are.
Okay.
90s roller rink. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Well, in the theme of 90s, my song is definitely from the 90s. Because I was telling Kayla and Ted that I was subjected to reliving a lot of the songs from the 90s. We were celebrating my brother's birthday this weekend, and we were all reminded of the songs and essence of my brother's life. And one of them, as he brought it up, I'll admit, on the drive home from his party, I listened to it 3 times because I forgot that I actually bought this album. And B, loved the track that is my pick of the week, which is Sting's Desert Rose.
Oh, what? All right. It's catchy.
It's catchy. It's catchy. And I think what I really appreciated was the obvious influence of like Latin and Arabic music was definitely involved in that particular track. Love Sting as a musician, definitely as a songwriter and a vocalist. So it makes sense as to why this song definitely it's definitely an earworm. But more importantly, I love the idea of how even in the 90s, this was like a wonderful bridging of different cultures and approaches to this particular track. So, looking back at it, I was like, yo, this did more than I was able to appreciate at that age. But now listening to it again, I was like, oh my goodness, why have I listened to this more like now?
To be fair, I did like that song.
See?
A boatload back then.
See?
Yeah, not a bad song. Not a bad song.
Not a bad song.
No.
And he was definitely at the top of mine because I remember him going back to like Grammy stuff. I remember when he introduced Aretha Franklin in like 98 or something like that, for when she had to fill in for Pavarotti. And she just like sang opera because like Aretha Franklin just sings opera. Like,
because why not?
Because she was that amazing.
Right.
And he was like, this is my dear friend. I was like, Aretha Franklin would be dear friends with Sting. Like, all this makes sense. All of this makes sense. So that would definitely be my 90s flick. Not something that you would hear in a roller rink, I don't think.
No.
Maybe at a bowling alley, but...
Bowling alley.
So...
I feel like I should have gone with some sort of 90s throwback now.
No,
like,
we didn't coordinate at all.
Not at all.
Immediately what came to mind was Kiss from a Rose by Seal. I don't know why. Maybe because I saw somebody post a video recently that was just the isolated vocals from that song, from a live performance. And he's a very phenomenal singer.
Yes.
So not my song of the week pick, but if I had known, I might have gone with something 90s. We'll do honorable mention. Seal's Kiss from a Rose. That's a serious throwback. That was from one of the Batman movies.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
1994.
Love how Ted knows that off the
I
top
remember the
of
music
his head.
video.
Yeah, I do
Everyone
too.
remembers
Yeah.
the music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
All right,
that was a spectacle of a Batman. That was vibrant.
What was the other song he? Oh, "Crazy" is the other
Crazy.
song he did. That was pretty good too. Actually, that I think would probably be, if I had to choose a song from Seal, that would probably be my number one. Would
Nice.
be that song. Yeah. So we'll do honorable mention. We'll do "Kiss from a Rose." So
We rounded out the 90s.
yeah, there you go, folks. A lot of 90s throwbacks, and I don't know how much of our audience was actually around in the 90s. I'm gonna feel kind of like really kind of old if most
You
of
either
our
say
audience
that
doesn't
or
know
some
their
of our
songs.
audience are going to be like feeling real some type of way if we reference us being old.
Also true.
They're going to feel something.
Very true.
We may have to answer for that later.
Well,
Only Kayla, actually.
Yeah.
no, all right. I'll take the heat.
I had nothing to do with this.
I'll take the heat.
Can't say not me.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, on that note, as a reminder, we are taking a hiatus at episode 104. This is episode 97, I believe, which means we don't have many episodes left. So if you have an idea for a future show, or if you want to be on a show with us, or if you have an idea even for when we return, reach out and let us know. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. The easiest way to find us is to just go to our link tree, which is linktr.ee/distorted opinions. You'll find our email address, all of our social media accounts, our YouTube, all the places you can listen in audio only format. Everything's in that link. And as a reminder, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube. So even if you don't watch the video version of the show, if you're on YouTube and you can search for Distorted Opinions and give us a subscribe, we'd appreciate it. We're slowly but surely getting there. I think we're up to 57 subscribers right now. So hopefully we'll hit 100. I think Keisha pointed out a few episodes back, it'll probably happen during the hiatus. But hey, it is what it is. If you subscribe to us during the hiatus, thank you for continuing to watch the old episodes and listen to the old episodes. So on that note, thank you, Keisha and Ted, for joining me and talking about the Grammys, and we'll see what happens with Ted's Fender guitar there. I think everybody's going to be now waiting on the edges of their seats to find out whether or not Ted's going to buy that guitar after all, and we hope you'll join us next week for a whole new episode. We'll see you then.